Okay, this, to be, fair, this live discussion is coming from inspiration from a content creator on YouTube. And I haven't had a chance to listen to her on sharing it and then kind of talking about it with y'all. But the title in itself and just the little few tidbits of information that I got from her video kind of let me know where she was going. So she was definitely talking about targeted individuals or people who are survivors of any type of a serious narcissistic abuse, all those types of things, right? A therapist or a doctor, but I mean, I have to go back and look into that, okay? So to all of you who ends up coming on this video, legit viewers and followers, this is for you. And, any new people who are just, curious about it all, okay? So it's common in religious communities and even the spiritual communities, and sometimes, when you look at just even behavioral health from that, where a lot of emphasis is on healing, the need for healing from trauma, the need for healing from betrayal, okay? And I want to say that I agree with the basis of it, but as I've been saying, and I just couldn't find the words over the last maybe 10 years, I couldn't find the words, but essentially I was saying that from ongoing injustice, because here's what you're told: breath work. And I utilize all these things. These are regulatory practices that helps the nervous system, that helps the body, okay? But when you're talking about or true healing from, it goes beyond just regulating your nervous system, because essentially, to me, what it begins to do is just help people to become comfortable with abuse, to become comfortable with, betrayal. Just go do your breath work, and because it's going to help to regulate the vagus nerve and the nervous system, and it is. Those things do serve. But if you are living through ongoing injustices, what the fuck good is that? If you're dealing with retards, mental patients without diagnoses that fucking... I'm just saying, y'all, there's going to be people offended by this, but let's just make it plain and stop playing. We're tough every day, every time, everything else. So let's get some toughness as we listen to me talk about this shit right here. Okay? Shit. You sensitive? You sensitive? Okay. So, again, if you are, and for some of us, it's beyond MK Ultra. It's MK Naomi and some other thing. Just to make you uncomfortable, some retard with some 4th of July fireworks that likes to, I laughed at the shit. I was like, yeah, you're dead. I hope you know you're dead. I hope that you know that just as you did that, something's about to spook the fuck out of your people, possibly you. But back to what I'm saying. It goes beyond just a little bit of a noise. Oh, they're just a little noisy. They've assigned the noisemakers just to make sure. No, now it's tampering with the water, the sewer system, as you can see in front of my son's bedroom window there, if you look down. I walked around. What does all the rest of them, because surely he's not the only unit that. So what are the commonalities of these things around the complex? And I don't see none of them. I didn't see any of them like that. I took some. What's that? Why would that be there? Is it perhaps they're trying to put something in the plumbing? To end up going through the plumbing to perhaps what? So again, in the religious, on the religious side of it, you're going to have the people, give it unto the mm-hmm. Okay. It's ignorance and it's lazy. It's lazy. I'm just giving it to like, no, that's not what we're going to do. Not at all. Okay. To tell these populations that have been harassed and terrorized, because that's what this is. This is, they you want to talk about terrorists? These are terrorists within its own kind, within its own country. Okay, this is terrorism. A crazy bitch around the corner that's hung up on raggedy to, some highfalutin, high society, distorted retard. Everything in between. To tell these people who their energy is being violated, their civil, their human rights, and then just this thoughts. Trash. I see it. Thoughts. A bunch of trash. Hired by cops with no class to do illegal things, to save their own ass. Did I rhyme? Didn't mean to do it this time, but back to what I'm saying. Sometimes it's justice, not more healing. Most empaths and targeted individuals have already been masters of managing. They live their lives managing the retards that should have been raising them. Understand? Leaders, adults that should have had their capacities to fuck together. Okay? And they didn't. So they had to manage, okay, what Looney Tune bitch niggas, what screenplay is fucking here today, nigga? What kind of shit that we gotta fucking tippy toe the fuck around today? They're already masters of that, and they're also masters of self-soothing because they've been doing this possibly since they were 4, maybe even beyond that. So it's beyond them doing that. We don't need targeted individuals, people that are violated. They do sake, okay? Because like I said, it serves. It's not that it's wrong. Okay, they need it for the body's sake, right? For alchemy, okay? But longevity, tolerance, they need justice. Let me give some physical examples. I do this maybe every couple months because sometimes it just helps humans to make sense of it when you give something tangible to kind of chew on instead of just a bunch of sayings. And I use physical stuff because that's something that we can see, okay, and touch. The covert, coercive, this sadistic weirdo, behind the scenes shit, that's different. Okay, because how do you measure people calculating, sitting on their raggedy ass doves on their little trashy phones? You know what I'm saying? How do you measure? You see what I'm saying? Because physical is undeniable, irrefutable. So let's go with something physical. So let's say, and the trigger warning, somebody was a victim of or a target of having their home broken into and stolen from. Okay, now let's say that they live in an apartment complex. Okay, I'm giving you some backdrop story. They live in an apartment home broken into and stolen from. Let's say that the neighborhood is not necessarily one of those neighborhoods. Let's say that it's not necessarily something common there. And let's say, for intensive purposes, it's not because they're just dating these trash bags who, you know, start scoping the scene, because all those are factors. So let's just say, for the purposes of this discussion, that they're not dating anybody, they stay to themselves. It's a fairly decent neighborhood. It's not something that's common in the area, but for whatever reason, it's every month it's continuing to happen, and each month they don't get any justice. Each month they're just told, you know, well, we're looking, you know. It's just like, there's like nothing, they're not getting anything. And it's odd. And now here's the kicker. The inside track is that it's coming from the house. It's management. It's management and management staff, because management and management staff has access to be able to get into these units if they needed to. That's a part of being in an apartment complex, is that the management can get into these units. But every time the person contacts, you know, the police, and they tell them the story, they're just being told, well, you know, we're doing everything that we can without having any description of any names or any person. There's not much we can do. The staff of this complex, them or some of their associates, to tell that person who may be wildly upset because they do call the police and the police is incompetent, or they tell them, you know what I'm saying, well, you know, we're doing all that we can do. You know, it's nothing we can do without proof. You're saying that you suspect it's your management because they have keys, but, you know, there's nothing proof of that. You see it? You know, that what other way is it possible? You haven't lost your keys. You don't sit them down alone anywhere for significant, like when you just know that, well, because it's not vandalized, so it's given this implication that it wasn't through broken windows or things like that. This means entry was by key. So if entry is by key, going around because you say you suspect, nigga, do your job, nigga. Ain't they paying your ass to, you know, to be the fucking detective? Or you want to pay me to detect my own shit? Which one is it gonna be? Because it seemed like a detective worth their salt would fucking know what I'm talking about. So it would be ludicrous to tell this person that has had these violations that they just need more security. How? Okay, they're not in a home, they're in an apartment complex, which means that management and their team will always have access. It doesn't matter. They will have access unless the tenant were to get locks that they do not report, you know what I'm saying, and give, which is a violation to the terms and conditions, you know, of their leases. Somebody will say, well, security camera, you know, what if they have a security camera on the door? Do you all know that those things could be disabled if somebody has the right technology? Did y'all know that? They can be disabled, technologically disabled, even if it's but for 60 seconds. It can be overridden and even tampered with. So to say, well, the security camera, not if it's tampered with, not if somebody knows how to override it, and it's a thing, and it can be done. Okay, I know it for a fact. So for people to like tell that person, well, just get this and get that. You know, just go get you some breath work. It's breath, no. I want my shit, and I want these niggas' heads on a platter to make. Tell me that shit. Give me they fucking head. Now, you and I, give me their head. Deliver them. Okay? There we go. Now we're talking. Get to the root. Give me the head hoe and the head nigga. Bring them to me. Because the little stragglers, the little strays, they're just minions. Give. And I will. But see, the reason why I'm talking this way, because I'm on it. I understand healing journey. I also know the trick of the healing loop. I know what they did with that. You spend it. Follow me. Somebody gonna be pissed about what I'm saying, and then there's gonna be somebody that feels liberated by what I'm saying right here. You done spent 10 years on healing from betrayal and trauma. 10 years when that was that needed to be dealt with and addressed. So keep throwing negativity, keep doing this, so they're always cleaning up messes that was never theirs to clean up. It was never theirs to clean up. It's a distraction. Low down, dirty scoundrel, waste of skin, with fucking lizard, reptilian. On our old bad ways. They try not to go to jail, and this is the only way they can keep themselves out of jail. Keep them distracted by jilted lovers and ex-lovers who just can't seem to get over themselves. Crackhead. Them shit, I'll be if I was you finna fold up. You in a minute now, there's gonna be a strong wind and you're gone. Go put that cigarette up. I don't know what were you his lover, nigga? Like, is what? Or are you just one of the one of the many that's got a rap sheet, and that these were the offers given to you? Okay, this is beyond annoyance, beyond nuisance. It's beyond, because people try to say collective individuals are sore losers. They're anything but sore losers. They're not no damn sore losers. They ain't lost. They've dealt with theft. People need to stop talking that bullshit. Implying that somebody was playing some kind of a sport, a game of sorts, and there was rules pertaining to it, and everybody was playing it, and everybody knew that they were playing it, and everybody played by it, and then they just so happened to lose. That's what that sounds like when someone says someone is salty or a sore loser. Nobody is a sore loser when they're feeling some kind of way because people are stealing from them. You might want to. Okay. Back again. Sore loser is an implication that there was a game of sorts being played by all parties involved, and they all knew that they were playing this. They were all given the rules and regs and all stuck to that, and then they just so happened to lose to the opponent, and as a result, bitter, i.e. sore loser. Okay? Examples of that, you all have heard me give examples of Tanya Harding and Nancy Currington. These are skater bitches, ice skating bitches of the 80s, I want to say, maybe 80s, early 90s. And there was a story about Tanya Harding sabotaging Nancy Currington because basically she wanted to win the game. That is an indication Tanya Harding was a bitter bitch, sore loser. She, I think, did something to make Nancy Currington, I think she hurt her, like something to, like, if I'm remembering correctly, like her ankle, like she did something, right? So if Nancy felt some kind of way about it, she's not the sore loser. She was sabotaged. The sore loser is the weirdo who goes through those links. Up seeing this video, I'm gonna need y'all to get a little understanding about words and shit. Since you want to be out here claiming the collective of targeted individuals are just bitter, they're salty. They don't want your man or your woman. That's a guarantee. That's a 100% fact. Okay? They want you. They don't envy or cut nothing about you. They might find you disgusting because, like, who does the shit like you're doing? Get a life. They don't care about what the fuck you think you look like, about if you got natural hair that's growing. Don't care. You supposedly got the perfect bod and, you know, the vehicle and the home and all that stuff. They find you disgusting. Okay? So let's just make that clear. They don't find nothing appealing about none of you. So they're not salty. They're not salty and jealous. Okay? Their upsetness is strictly to do, and I've said this over the years, it is 100% to do with the vile criminal injustices to them and their children. Attempts at their health and their well-being. Attempts at their strictly to do with that. The theft. The meddling with their lives. It has nothing to do with, oh, because they don't have no money. No, they have plenty of money. Money that was stolen. They had jobs that were infiltrated. So this don't have nothing to do with that. They don't need more healing from their childhood because it's the childhood was its origins, but they still have parents who are not. They don't need healing from that. They need justice. They need people to not be cowards. They need authorities to be held accountable for their distortion. People using their positions for their personal bents. They need the government and the United States for and their bigotry and their criminality. Don't need no medicine. It's the classic, let's abuse covertly and then let's video them spazzing out so we can say they're crazy in their face on purpose. That. So they can try, collective, let these people try to get you all in street theater, because that's what this shit is. So that they can all come out with their lizard-brained asses, reptilians. So that they can all come out and record you say air quote, spazzing out so that they can then getting a court somewhere in front of an official somewhere and go, see, we said, is there anything wrong with you? Are you, ma'am, are you okay, bitch? Who are you up to? Now all of a sudden you trash bags got some empathy. Now all of a sudden ain't nothing wrong with me, but it's everything wrong with you. They're the ones working with black ops and retards doing toxic shit. So they need to ask themselves a question. Are you okay? They need to go look in the mirror and say, are you okay? They need to look in that rear view mirror, in that car mirror, and say, are you okay? To themselves. Because why are you a weird bitch? Why are you a stalker? And acting like that's not what you are. Calling yourself a private investigator when you're nothing but a trash bag that's trying to keep your ass out of jail or something. They need collective. They need to look at themselves and say, are you okay? That's really what they need to do. It's a classic move of toxic people and abusers. They'll pay for it. They'll use a whole little minimum wage check to pay for some fucking spell work, or their whole county check, their baby's WIC certificate. They'll use all their resources to do all this fuckery and then try to go around looking like, are you okay? Are you okay, bitch? Are you? With your weird ass, stalking niggas. You're weird. They're weird, and not in a cool, weird way. They're weird. Pattern recognition. See, the thing, we're switching up the game as targeted individuals because so neither are we at this point. We ain't gonna let them know shit just as surely as they not letting us know shit. They can try to go in fitness on your phone, like how you can put your phone in your hand down by your thigh, but you're actually still trying to record the person in front of you type and move. Ain't nobody stupid. Redhead and fitness, Crunch Fitness yesterday, hydro machine. Ain't nobody stupid. But and we're not about them to help them to get out their jobs either. Nope, they gonna have to suffer, and then we might even play and take them on zigzags and shit, make their ass work. Since that's what it's let's go on the zigzag. Do I want to go over here? Oh, I'll go over here. I think I'm gonna go over there. Oh, I think it's changing. We're not making announcements. We're not doing anything. They're recording you without your permission. They're taking pictures of you without your permission. So now we're doing the same. That's what they all doing, aren't they? Remember. They don't care nothing about no rule. They're going to do what they're going to do. So guess what? We're going to do what we're going to do. Do the same shit. You just need, more Reiki, more light language, more, like all that is great, all that is beautiful. And like I said, there's truth and it serves. because to me, I find it to be more preventative than anything else. But when you're dealing with someone that is a target to injustice, you doing a cool session and telling them that the divine is with them is really not helpful, because that in itself is not serving sense for whatever reason, divine or whatever authority over the retard to be allowed. There's no reason under God's green earth and all of that bullshit about karma and past life. There's truth to that, but there's also trickery in that. That's not helpful. It's basically one more thing to convince people to be okay with injustice. And in some cases, for shit that they shouldn't have even, some past life shit, you know, some trickery, some destiny swappy shit that was never even theirs. It's somebody else's debt. To get them to do the work that the trash bags didn't want to do for themselves, which is why they're thieves to begin with. People have been trying to compromise. You don't tell people where folks is literally strategically trying to compromise their physical health and well-being. You don't just simply tell them, you know, to guidance using these methods. But if they are in the midst of authority and leadership and people and places and things that's basically attempting murder, because that's what this is. This is attempted murder. And this is attempted murder in a slow way so that it doesn't look like that. That's what this is. So that it looks like it's something that was just a tragedy, somebody take, you know, tragically ill from something irreparable. But it's because again, if they're trying to compromise somebody's health, then that's what they're doing. Premeditated attempted murder. Even if it's passive, it's still the same thing, and I'll have their heads. The targeted individuals aren't bitter people. Actually, they're the opposite. And the fact that they're the opposite, the people that are actually bitter has wanted to destiny swap because they are bitter. They don't know how to self-regulate. They're vampires. They're agents of chaos. So for the record, you know, collective, you already know this, so but let's be a confirmation to you that it ain't always about you needing some damn healing. And it's always some retard that ain't experienced nothing but maybe somebody stole their favorite ice cream. You know what I'm saying? It's always somebody who has been fucking sheltered or some shit like that and haven't, or even a karmic, which, you know, you don't get that same pushback because hell, you plugged in. And you're helping perpetuate the agenda. So, the fake version of wokeness and shit. It's always somebody who ain't suffered much. That's gonna tell you, just, no. What I know is cowards need to be devoured. That's what I know. Some of us, if we were, to realize that the liberties, and I should say the limited liberties, because some of that is an illusion, but the liberties that we think we're experiencing, to the degree in which we are anyway, wouldn't have happened if somebody wasn't a badass. That's all I'm saying. It would have never happened. I don't care what nobody say. It would have never fucking happened if somebody somewhere wasn't a badass in history. If everybody was cowardly and running and kissing master's ass, and if everybody was a house nigga, you know what I'm saying? Then shit would be the way it always has been. Somebody had to put their life on the line. Somebody had to say, one way or another, this ain't how this is gonna be. I ain't your fucking slave. One way or another, I'm coming out this spell and this bullshit and this trickery. You don't come for me and then try to manipulate me into feeling like I'm wrong. There's a content creator on TikTok that I follow, and he's an atheist. And I know that there's some people that may feel some kind of way. That proves my point every day. We're so stuck on these types of things, but we can't even evaluate behavior. We can't evaluate people's behavior. We can't discern nothing, but we're so stuck on these things. I know people that may be aware of that. It's a gentleman I follow on TikTok, and I have respect. I do. I got respect for his views because they're valid. And even if I cannot agree 100% everything, the meat and potatoes of what he's saying. He talked about how, you'll get brainwashed into feeling some kind of way. And he's like, please, if you come for mine, you're done. You might as well prepare. Get the arrangements made, because no matter how long it takes, I'm coming. And that he talks about how that's natural. It's natural. In the animal kingdom, it's natural. It's unnatural to have people to sit somewhere passively and it's like, it's okay. I'm gonna get, you can come for me and try to kill me and hurt me and my kids. I'm just going, it's okay. It is not okay. It's not okay. That's brainwashing. That's why there's so much mental illness. That's why there's so much cognitive dissonance. That's why people morph into psychopaths and all this sort of shit, because there's been this denial. No, it's not okay. We need to get these suckers. It's absolutely not okay. They try to hang you and you talking about, nigga, please, no, your head will be mine. It will be mine. Doing spell work and shit, oh yeah. They didn't give you the ins and outs and the rules about the limitations of all of that, and you did it anyway. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Justice needs to be served. And this is the game-changing energy, because as things are brought out and faced head on, it forces the world to get its head out of its ass. It forces, whether they want to do it or not, like, nah, you trash and this is trash, and we're gonna deal with this. Y'all can go into your cave and spell cast until the end of days as you know it, and we're still coming for you. The other day I saw something fell from the sky. I was walking through Parkdale Mall at night, Parkdale Mall's parking lot, and I saw something fall from the sky. Those of us that resonate with stuff like, you know, starseed, earth angel, for, you know, and that's otherworldly. And if you don't vibe with that, you know, it's okay. I don't have to hate you for it. I don't need to go on a campaign to prove how Looney Tunes you are because you don't vibe with it. That's the problem with humanity. People think folks just got to see it the way we do. That's another video. Back to what I'm saying. They're here. For some of us, what we need to know is they are here. Whether, you know, Lyrans, Andromedans, depending on whatever this is, your people, your soul, they're here. They've located you. And they've located those who are coming after you. From government to just the trashy thought down the street. Now, what does that mean? Well, it just means this. Torturing you. Many of them are getting some happening as I speak. And unfortunately, this is how, you know, when the judicial system in this natural fails or is dragging its tail, sometimes if we evoke the right thing, this is why I make statements like one way justice shall be served. This is why I say that. Because either it's going to be natural or it's going to be in ways that they're going to wish that they just let it be natural. How about that? Your people, your cosmic people, they are here. They located you and they located the ops. They own them. So these white supremacist groups, these Confederate range, like I said, religious, radical, supremacist groups to weirdo, you know, witches and warlocks that have mental illness that they should have, before they went into practice, then they should have got their capacities together. To jolted people who mad because you stood up for yourself. Because many of you, it's such a discombobulated ball of shit because it's mixed. There's some people that just don't like the fact that you're not a they just don't like the fact that you're not, you know what I'm saying, a doormat anymore. They just don't like the fact that you're not going to just shut up and just say that's how it is and they just don't like the fact, and they, you know, and they've now made it their mission because, again, when you're a narcissist, nobody can't, you know, whether you're wrong or not, it don't matter. And for some of you, it's just people who are jealous. They're jealous of who you are. They're jealous of your intelligence. They're jealous of your creativity. You know, no matter what they have, they're a 3-year-old toddler. And that's what this world is. Collective, hear me out with this one last thing. You know why these methods that we used to do for so long, we thought, fuck it, because we're co-creators. We're not glued. They so glued to shit don't make no sense. These motherfuckers, they don't even know how to fucking function. They don't know how to live. And so we got to a point where we got used to loss. We got used to just letting stuff go. Let it go, let them have it. They obviously don't care nothing about their livelihood to such an extent that they'll do it anyway. So let them have it. They need it more than me, apparently. They need it more than me. Let the dizzy bitch have it. Because they're putting their life on the line, their children's life on the line, they're putting their bloodline on the line for this $500,000. Let them have it. Let them have it. But you know why that's never going to be enough? This is why we're going to evoke justice. It'll never be enough. Because like typical of a 3-year-old, the bully narcissist stomping about your life and your creation. Talking about gimme mines. They're gonna always be wanting what's yours because they haven't figured out that the reason why you embody that is because you're co-creating and you're grateful and you know how to simply be in the moment and be okay. You know how to find contentment 24/7. That's the lesson that they miss. This gaping hole that will never be filled. And this is why no matter what you let them have, they're going to still hover you around like the hunchback of Notre Dame, like my son's late aunt who likes to hoover people's ashtrays for ashes. Because you make things look interesting. You make them seem fun. That's because you're going within. That you're not sitting here just simply trying to copy and paste somebody's fucking personality. Not copy and pasting someone else's interest. You know how to go and find your own and create in your own unique way, even if it's similar to many others. There's a vast difference. This is why we have to create justice one way or the other. Because no matter what we allow them to have, thinking that is going to appease that gaping hole of theirs that they will never fill as long as they're existing. And they're never going to fill it. This is why they're always looking for a scam. This is why they're always looking for the next high, the next thrill, the next come up, because they're empty. And so they're always going for someone else's happiness because they think if I can take that, then I'll have their happiness. And then they take something and then it turns out to be, it's fun for all of an hour, a month, 2 months, however long, and then followed by destruction, devastation, chaos, war, mayhem. After the high, the thrill is gone from stealing something, so-called stealing. And it ain't fun no more. No matter how, this is why we have to stop appeasing. Because no matter what you're willing to walk away from, they're going to keep hoovering your life until we whoop their ass one final time. Until we get to the head and stick it to them where it counts, where it gets their attention. And as long as we're saying, well, I'll just move. No, we're not going to just move. We're going to move, but first, we're also going to stick it to their ass. Yeah, we're going to move, yeah, but we're going to stick it to their ass as well. Okay? I'm telling y'all, it's the classic thing. They'll keep coming for all of your shit, no matter where we go. So we're going to have to give them enough pain where it counts. We don't need more healing. We're not bitter. We're not angry. We're angry rightfully, but we don't live in anger as a state of being. It's anger directed towards the injustice. When somebody get physically beat up and they feel in some kind of way, you don't go and tell them, oh, they just ain't. No, they got violated. Get your definitions in check, humans. Get your vocabulary in check. Okay, because you're out here saying shit, thinking you cute. Thinking you clowning, thinking you humiliating somebody. And the funny part about this is you're humiliating yourself because you don't have proper understanding of language. Breath, light language, Reiki. I love all those things. Having a belief system of sorts, if you choose to, if it's seeming to help you and work for you. And, you know, sometimes stuff is escapism. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we got to deal with it and we have to call it. Period. Because in some of the targeted population's case, for the intrusion that has created what appears to be the delays in their lives. So they're going for the head now. They don't want the minions no more. They know that most of these motherfuckers is just trash. Just some trash bag that'll do anything for some cash. Or they'll do anything to get the charges dropped for Christmas so they can be with little Pookie and a little Shanae. Or little Meredith and little Todd, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the fuck. So join us if you are a viewer of mine that are in position to support the GoFundMe. Please do. Every little bit counts. Don't feel like it's, you know, too small. It adds up. It all adds up. And but there's other portals and other means. That's not the only means, but that's one of the main tools that I'm using to get me, my son, out of Texas. Okay, these people have physically come for our lives, and this is why we had so many different things that took place. People trying to poison us and being drained and stuff. People doing spiritual work in the vicinities of where he's been and I've been, and one thing and another. Basically selling us to these, like I said, these children are born motherfuckers. Thinking that because it's in Timbuktu, this is one of the easiest ways you can sweep this under the rug. And they're not getting away with it, so they might as well go back to their highfalutin elite bitch and nigga that told them whatever they told them and go back and tell them, I said, well, we'll find out, won't we? Because even they are not exempt to what's going to happen.